Hello, very warm welcome. Driver ratings for the French Grand Prix. All 20 drivers covered as we rate them out of 10 for their weekend. We saw Red Bull outsmart Mercedes. Wow. Round 7, and this is going to be an entertaining season as the battle will continue for a double header in Austria. So, we give a fair assessment and a detailed description of why we're giving the rating that we do. We're going to cover all 20. I was going to include Nissani, but he didn't really do anything anyway, so yeah. We'll start with Antonio Giovinazzi, 6. He had a very solid weekend. Had the edge on Kimi Räikkönen all weekend. P13 in quali. Really improved. Beat Kimi all weekend. P15 in the race. They lacked race pace, but he outshined Kimi. Kimi Räikkönen won. Awful. P17 in quali. Obviously the red flag didn't help. I don't know if you can hear that, but we've got an alarm going off. Brilliant. P17. Red flag cost him. Mick Schumacher. Poor. Beaten by Giovinazzi all weekend. P17 quali and the race. So, yeah, dreadful. And we hardly saw him on TV, so. Gasly, 9. P6 quali, again he delivers and finishes 7th in the race. 7th. Home race, he's been outstanding. He's at the top of his game, is Piero Gasly. And once again, he destroys Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda, 2. Now, I was close to giving him 0. He spins in qualifying, brings the red flag out. Too much curb, hit the rear of the car. He had to start from the pit lane. And yeah, another big mistake by Tsunoda. But he did a good fight back in the race as he finished P13. But he should be scoring points. And yeah, qualifying was a mess. Daniel Ricciardo, 9. Finally, he actually looked at home in the McLaren. P10 quali, P6 in the race. And he was actually overtaking cars. Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, jumped Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz. And a great tribute to Mansa OJ by McLaren. And they scored massive points on Ferrari. Ferrari scored no points. McLaren finished 5th and 6th. Good confident weekend for Ricciardo, but the only downside is he still finished behind Norris. His strategy was on point. Lando Norris, 9. P8 quali, P5 in the race. Driver of the season, again he performs on a Sunday, and huge points on Ferrari. Massive weekend for McLaren. George Russell, 8. P14 quali, gets through again to Q2. P12 in the race. Williams' best finish of the season. He destroys Nicholas Latifi all weekend, doing the best he can and outperforming the car. Now, someone actually commented saying George Russell was overrated. I mean, I love the opinions. You don't all have to agree, but that was bold to say George Russell is overrated. But yeah, great overtake on Yuki Tsunoda and Russell doing what he does. Latifi, 5. Now, he finished 18th in the race, but I think he was okay this weekend, Latifi. I mean, P16 in quali. He only just missed out by 0.02. So, a better weekend, but still outshined by Russell. Nikita Mazepin, 2. Spin in practice 2. P18 in quali. P20 in the race. Just a bang average weekend for the Russian. He did pull a good overtake on Mick Schumacher. That was his highlight. Mick Schumacher, 5. Spin 2 minutes into the weekend. He then crashed a car in qualifying. That will go down as his best qualifying, but I feel like it's very misleading because people couldn't improve because of the red flag. So Schumacher gets his best qualifying, but it wasn't really on merit. I mean, maybe 5's a bit too high because he had quite a few mistakes, but he did beat Mazepin in the race. Kind of went from 0 to hero. Sebastian Vettel 7. Big spin in FP1, he hit the rear against a wall. P12 in quali, Aston not looking quick, and then once again, strategy on point as Sebastian Vettel does a mega long stint. I think he was the last one to pit. Impressive strategy again, and scores points again for Vettel as he finished. P9. Lance Stroll 5. Now he's gone from zero to hero. In qualifying, he couldn't get a lap together. He exceeded track limits, and then a red flag came out, so he ended up getting knocked out. But in the race, again, a great strategy by Aston Martin, and Lance finished P10. Some good overtakes by Lance. Lewis Hamilton, 8. P2 quali, P2 in the race. He responded well as he was on the back foot to Valtteri in practice. He led early on after a Max mistake, but then he got undercut. And then he tried the one stop. It didn't work. And need to do a lot of work before Austria or Styrian Grand Prix, whatever you want to call it. Valtteri Bottas 8, fastest in FP1, P3 quali, P4 in the race. He came on the radio and said he wanted to two-stop. The team didn't do so, and he massive rant on the radio. And finally, he shows a bit of, he's taking his nuts out of his handbag and shows a bit of passion. He looked racy. When Max was leading, you had Max, Lewis, Bottas, and Bottas was in the mix. I think he had a good weekend, Valtteri. Max 10. What a talent, what a special talent, and he's in the title fight. And Red Bull have performed at a Mercedes track. Pole position, it was a special lap, fastest lap, race win, strategy on point. Damaged a car in one of the practice sessions, but title challenger, huge statement made by Red Bull. Of course, it wasn't a great start by Max as he actually made a mistake, but the strategy, the gamble, paid off. What a weekend for Max, 26 points in the bag. Sergio Perez 10. P4 in qualifying, P3 in the race. Now Sergio Perez is doing what Red Bull need. He was there again. He's doing exactly what Albon and Gasly couldn't do. Sergio Perez won in Baku. Again, he's on the podium this weekend, and he played the team game to help Max win the race. And for me, he's already secured his 2022 drive. Why would Red Bull not keep him? I mean, he's doing what he's there to do. He's delivering for Red Bull. They've needed this for a couple of years now, and they've found the driver to do so. Charles Leclerc, 0. Now, I give him 0. I thought he was absolutely atrocious from the get-go. He was on the back foot from the get-go, outshined by Carlos Sainz. He did qualify 7th, but he got pole Monaco, pole Baku, then he qualified 7th, and in the race, the tyre degradation for Ferrari was a joke, and a bad weekend all round. Really poor weekend by Charles. He finished 16th. That's got to be one of his worst weekends in Formula 1. Carlos Sainz, 5. Spinning FP1. He's adapted to the Ferrari well. I mean, he qualified 5th, but then had the same problems as Leclerc in the race. Tyre degradation was high, and he drops to 11th. But the positive for Sainz is he's adapted well to the Ferrari. McLaren gained massively on Ferrari. Carlos also had a huge moment going to the grid where he locked the tyres up. Esteban Ocon, 3. Before the weekend, it was announced Ocon would stay 3 years till 2024, but as a weekend, it was not great. He qualified 11th. He finished 14th. Poor. Very poor. The team's home race, his home race. Contract in the bag. You think he'd be confident. He got beaten up by Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso, 9. Strawn FP2, star of the session, P4. He qualifies 9th. He finished 8th. And given all the hype around his teammate, Ocon signed a new deal, Ocon's doing this, Ocon's doing that, Alonso beat him up this weekend. So great weekend for Fernando. Great to see him racing, fighting the gritty, dog-eared Fernando Alonso. And yeah, I give him 9. So let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there we have it. All 20 drivers covered as we rate them out of 10 for their weekend. And for once, we saw an entertaining French Grand Prix. Yeah, Red Bull. Wow, they are in this title fight. And we will go to Austria. We've got, a couple of days off, and then we'll be doing a preview for the Styrian Grand Prix. Thanks for the support during the French weekend, and we go again for the Styrian Grand Prix. I hope you can join me. If you are new, subscribe now, and comment down below. We'll always reply. Driver ratings for the French Grand Prix. Adios.